Gentlemen, welcome to part 2 of my videos for A Foreign Affair, or AFA, or loveme.com, whatever it is that you want to call them. If you haven't seen part 1 is the story of my journey through a foreign affair and what happened to me, and it should give you a pretty good indication of what you can expect. In this video here, I'm going to show you what you need to do with some tips and some tricks and some rules of things that can help you be more successful while you go on the Foreign Affair tour. Now, I can't say 100% that you're going to be successful, but if you are thinking about going on the tour, this is definitely going to help you. Okay, so what do we need to do to actually be successful on one of these AFA tours? I've compiled a list. I believe that if you follow them, you will be more successful than if you didn't follow them. Now, I didn't know these rules, and these are ones that, I've just had to basically work it out myself. But before we get into that, I think it's important to just take a little bit of a step backwards and just try to understand exactly where these 300 or 400 absolutely drop-dead gorgeous women that are at the social events, where they actually came from. Because when we can understand that, we can use that to increase our chances of actually being successful. Probably doesn't make too much sense at the moment, so let me tell you by drawing you a picture. Okay, so a good way to explain this is if we look at eBay. I know this makes no sense right now, but just please bear with me and it'll make sense in a minute. So let's take eBay, for example. Here's eBay. eBay. eBay is a platform that hosts sellers. Let's put those in there. So here are the sellers. These are the people that are selling, sellers. They are selling products to people that are interested in them. These are the products. And this is a pretty basic way to explain it. So if we were to look at this in the same way that the AFA system works. So if you look at this here, eBay cannot vouch for the products that are being sold. It can sometimes vouch for the sellers that are selling the products, but when it comes to the products, it's entirely up to you to do your own research and to figure out what's going to be the best product and which product is a good product or which product is a bad product. So that all makes complete sense. So if we were to just change this out here and change that to AFA or any other large dating type website where there are thousands and thousands of women. In Odessa, there are around about 1,500 marriage agencies. 1,500. So these marriage agencies become affiliates of AFA. These agencies, if we put them in here, agency. So these agencies are then connected to the AFA website. These agencies have their own girls or their own ladies that are looking for love. These ladies become down here. Ladies. So they become the ladies. So once again, AFA cannot vouch for these ladies that are here. They can kind of vouch for the agencies, but just like eBay, if somebody is found to be doing some bad activity, they can get scratched off. So it's important to remember, just because the girls are on the website, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are good, okay? It's up to us to figure out which ladies are good and which ladies are bad. You might be asking, well, why are these affiliates in here? Is there some other reason why they're connected to here? And the answer is yes, that there is. Okay? On the AFA website, you are able to send a letter to one of these girls or send them a gift. When you click on this button here, this link basically goes through to the agency. It's up to them what happens after them. Do they contact the girls? Do you waste your money writing the letter? Whatever. That's a video for another day anyway, but if you are writing letters, please stop, because it's not a good idea at all. Now, I don't tell you this because this is bad. I'm telling you this because if you're like me, you would have thought that all the girls that are here. These are all the girls that are going to be going to the social. If these girls are going to the social, AFA have vetted them and can vouch for them. It's not true. It's up to you to figure out which one is good and which one is a scam. So that's just a really quick overview of it without going into too much detail at all. But now that you know this, we can now get into the good stuff that's going to show you how to be successful when you go on the tour. All right, so now we can get into the good stuff. Now that you understand a little bit about how that whole system works and that you really don't know the intentions of all the ladies that are there, there obviously are going to be some good ones, but there are going to be some bad ones. So we don't know what those intentions are, but we can do some things in order to sort of keep track of what's going on and try and get through it with as little damage to our souls as possible. Okay, so on my list, number 1, and this one you have to follow. There is no exception to this rule. It is, I believe, the most important rule to follow. That rule is respect. I know it's a bit boring to talk about, but it is important. If you go on one of these tours, you are going to come across maybe a girl that you like that didn't like you, or maybe she turned out to be a scammer. Maybe she did something bad, whatever it is. You can't hold that against the other ladies that you're going to meet. So always have respect, always be a gentleman, always be nice, and always be as kind as possible. Because when you give out respect, you'll get it back. Okay, so there's no need to be to get angry or to get upset or to say the girls are just I just hate them, blah blah. Don't worry about that. You're going to come into contact with that. That's going to happen to you. You just have to absorb it and continue to be a gentleman and just continue to respect everybody that you come into contact with when you go on this tour. Okay, number 2. Now, I didn't do number 2. Well, this doesn't sound very good, does it? I didn't do this rule when I was at the first social. And I just sort of went in there all blasé. I was like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll just sort it out. But number 2 is keeping track of the numbers that you get and the girls that you talk to. Because the next day when you go look through your phone and you've just got numbers and messages, you don't know where they're from, or you can't remember who you've spoken to, and it just gets really, really messy. So what I did is the second day is that I used the app Viber. All the ladies have it, so you have to download Viber. So if you don't have it or you don't know what it is, just go and find out what it is and download it. So what you want to do in order to keep track of who you've spoken to and which Anna there was, because you probably talked about 5 in one night. I remember I was outside and I met 3 standing next to each other. In the app itself, there's the ability to have a barcode that comes up. With that barcode, the other person can actually scan it and put your details into your phone. So that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you're fumbling around with these numbers that don't make really any sense to you, or that you're not used to that format of numbers. Once you've done that, it'll then come up. You then want to take a selfie with the girl, so you know that that's the girl that you actually like, and then you want to forward that picture to her. So the next day when you are looking through your messages, you can see that you've sent a message to Anna. This is what she looked like. You know what her phone number is, and you know what time you've talked to her. So the next day you can message, you know exactly who you're messaging, and it just keeps everything just so nice and tidy. You do get given a translator who walks around with you, who writes down the numbers on a piece of paper. I can imagine that's the way that they did it 10 years ago before we had smartphones. So she'll do that, but just don't worry about that. Just do the Viber thing and you'll be fine. Okay, number 3. Now this one is kind of a given, but so many guys didn't do it. And what it is present yourself well. Wow. But I'm serious. Get a haircut beforehand. Make sure you wear like a nice suit or a suit jacket. I mean, there was guys there that were wearing like a cardigan jacket and just like baggy pants, and it just didn't look good. You're looking for a future wife or love of your life, whatever you want to call it, and you're looking for something exceptional. When you see the women that are there and the way that they're dressed, not just at the social, but in general, when they're just walking around. I mean, you see women that are walking to work in the morning, they look like they're going out for dinner, or to a special event or something. So bear that in mind. Like, make sure that your nails are trimmed, your hair is neatly brushed and cut, and your clothes are well pressed. You want to look sharp as, because the girls over there, they notice everything, okay, more so than in our own countries. Probably the girls are a little bit more relaxed, especially here in New Zealand. They don't really sort of seem to care too much about that sort of stuff. But over in the Ukraine, if you dress well, put on a sharp looking tie and get the collar all straight, you will stand out from the guy standing next to you who is not dressed well. So dress well. Okay, number 4. So we're getting into the social now. So you've walked in there and you will be just, your mind will be, steam will be coming out of your ears. You won't be able to believe what you're seeing. 300 or 400 absolutely drop dead gorgeous women, and they are all checking you out, and they're all, hey, come over here, come sit next to me, come sit next to me, come. And they're all going to move over in their seats, and they're all going to try and talk to you, and they're all sizing you up. Now, what I'm going to tell you to do is not going to make any sense, and you're going to go, what the hell are you talking about? But this is what you need to do. For the first 10 minutes, when you get in there, is do not talk to any of the ladies. I know, it makes no sense. All these beautiful women are begging you to come over and sit at their table, and you're not going to speak to any of them. The reason is, it is overwhelming when you get there, and you do need a few minutes to sort of get your breath and sort of figure out exactly where my bearings are and what's actually going on. So if you were to just go and just sit down straight away, you're going to get distracted straight away. I know, because that is what happened to me. What you want to do is you want to just do a little bit of a walk around the room, like you just sort of don't really care what's going on. You're just going for a little bit of a walk. Just have a look around. Maybe just go to the bar and get yourself a drink and just sort of relax and just look around the room and just see what's there, you know? See, there might be a group of ladies over here and you think, oh, I wouldn't mind going to talk to them. So that's all you want to do. Just get yourself a drink and just relax. Just remember, I don't want to talk to anyone for 10 minutes. Look at your watch. 10 minutes. At 10 past, then I'm going to go over and I'm going to go speak to that group over there. Because time will go so quickly, and before you know it, you're thinking, what the hell just happened? I messed that up. So just remember that. Just get yourself a drink. But one bit of advice is, don't go to the bar and buy like a big schooner of beer and walk around with it, because in the Ukraine, drinking is a real problem. So you don't want any of the ladies to look at you and be like, that guy's drinking a big beer. So just get a glass of wine or something and just pretend you're like sophisticated. Even if you don't like it, just drink it anyway. It'll look a lot better. Now, one thing that is going to happen, and if you don't do this right, it will ruin your entire tour. When you walk around that room for 10 minutes, something is going to happen. And you have to summon all of your power, internal power that you can, to resist it. These girls are going to come out and they're going to push in front of you and they're going to cut in front of you and they're going to be sitting there saying, come sit next to me, come sit next to me, come. These girls here, I call them the forward girls, okay? Now, the forward girls, you want to avoid them like the plague. And you're thinking, why? Would I want to do that? Because the chances of them being a scammer is almost 100%, okay? The forward girls, they'll cut in if you're talking to another girl, okay? They will grab you. They will try and take you away. They'll try and get you out of the venue and take you to a restaurant. These forward girls are motivated by this. They're motivated by money, okay? So they have no shame. They have absolutely no shame at all. When it came to the forward girls, one thing that you would notice is that if you do get the number of a forward girl, and what they'll do is they'll try and make sure that you get their number before you leave talking to them. If you get their number, the next day, if you show that number or that photo to the other guys that are there, they will also have her number as well. So this is something that I started to click onto relatively fast. It was, hey, I've got her number. Hey, you've got her number. Hey, you. That's because the forward girls jump in and make sure all the guys have their numbers, because the forward girls want to run the restaurant scams. They want to maybe get some gifts. They want to scam the guys. So they have no shame. They are there purely just to scam. And these are the girls that you have to avoid. You have to avoid them. And it's hard to tell who they are, because you kind of assume that they're the ones with the big boobs and the big lips and the blonde hair. But they're not. They can be any of them. And that's where the picture that I was showing you before, down the bottom there, some of the girls are good, some of the girls are bad. But we know that to avoid the forward girls in order to increase your chances. The forward girls will almost always speak good English. Is that a thing? Because it's very hard for them to be so forward and scam you if you can't understand them. So if a girl jumps in front of you, she can speak perfect English, she's trying to get you the hell out of there because she tells you that she really, really likes you, then you need to get the hell out of there really, really fast, okay? So don't even waste your time talking to them. If she's saying to you to take her number, get your translator who's writing down the numbers, tell her to take the number down. Don't put it in your phone because you're going to muddle it up. She'll message you. You'll go on a date with her. You'll get scammed. So just, ignore the forward girls. Okay, so rule number, I think it's number 5, is use your translator. Okay, now you'll be given a translator by AFA that'll walk around with you and will be taking down the numbers. You need to tell her your plan. Okay, so everything that I'm going to teach you when it comes to the forward girls and all that sort of stuff, tell her your plan. Say you know about restaurant scams, you know about the girls that are jumping out, you know how the system works with, that you don't know if these girls here have good intentions or if they have bad intentions. So tell her this, because she will know everything that I'm telling you already. Okay, so it's important that you let her know so that way you two can work together. Now, the AFA gives you the translator, but they can't vouch for her either. So it is, if you wanted to, you could organize your own translator. If you have your own assistant that's with you for the week, or sorting things out for you the week, which I can recommend to do, take her along with you because you can trust her. So make sure you tell her your plan. Come up with some things that you both know what's happening. So maybe it's a safe word or something like that. If a forward girl comes out, maybe and then and she can create a diversion and you can get the hell out of there or something like that. But your translator will be a good assistance, especially if it's your first night there and it's a bit overwhelming. So just take that rule. It can help you a lot. Okay, rule number 7, I think it is the shy girls. The shy girls are the girls that they're sitting around the back of the room. They're just too shy to come and talk to you. They're intimidated by the forward girls, so they don't get to talk to the guys. Now, the thing to remember is that the forward girls are not your future wife. They are not your dream wife. They are not going to be there for you, okay? The shy girl sitting down the back that is too shy to even get up and come and say hello. She is the girl that you want. She is the girl that is going to be the mother of your child, the wife that will take care of you when you're sick. Not these forward girls. These forward girls are just a pain. They're just going to get in the way and they're going to burn through your money. The shy girls is what you want to be looking for. So when you are doing your scout around at the start of the event, look for those shy girls. They'll all be making eye contact with you. They'll all be stunningly beautiful. Those are the girls that you want to go and see and you want to go and talk to and spend time with, not the forward girls. I know it's hard. It's so hard. And you may not even be able to do it. I mean, I couldn't do it myself. And to be honest, if I went back there, I may even struggle again. But the shy girls, how do I know this? Because I have talked to the shy girls and they've told me it's too hard, that the other girls just come up and they surround the guys and they just don't let them come in. So it's up to you to break through and look for that perfect girl. And the perfect girl is not the forward girls, it's the shy girl 100%. So it's a good bit of advice. And if you don't follow that, you're going to end up wasting your time with these forward girls. Number 8. And I've seen guys do this. And the ladies have all seen guys do this. So don't do it because it's kind of bad. And that is, don't be flashy. You don't need to be flashy. The reason that if you were flashy, the reason that guys are flashy is because they're trying to convince the girl that they're a good catch. Look at what I've got. Look at my boat. Look at all my cars. You don't need to do all that sort of stuff, okay? You don't need to be pulling out wads of cash and tipping and this goes for at the social. It also goes for afterwards, just genuinely speaking. You don't need to be flashy. The good girls know that you have enough money because you're there. They know that you're a good guy and they're not motivated by your money. It's only the scammers, the forward girls, whatever you want to call them, that are motivated by money. If you're being flashy, the scammers are going to be going, ooh, looky what we got here. But you don't want that, do you? Well, maybe some of you guys do want that, I don't know. But if you're looking for genuine love, like I was, you want to find a genuine girl. So don't be flashy. After a few dates, sure, you can show some photos of the beach near your house or a photo of your house you've just built or something like that. That's normal because she is going to be thinking about how life would be like to live with you. So that's fine at that stage, but initially you don't need to go flashing it all around and showing them how much money you're worth. It doesn't look cool, so just, don't do that. When the social finishes, you will most likely go on a date afterwards. It'll be around about 10 o'clock, something like that. You can leave earlier if you want to. I wouldn't suggest leaving too early. If there is one of the ladies that you do like, she's still going to be there at the end, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But you're going to go out on a date afterwards and you'll probably go to somewhere close. A couple of things to remember here is that whenever you take a girl out afterwards, take your translator with you. You will have to pay like $15 an hour or something like that for her, but she will pick up on any bad stuff that's going to happen. So even if the lady that you've taken away for a date speaks English, just take the translator anyway, because they are good at picking up stuff. They can check the bill at the restaurant to make sure that you're not getting scammed. So for the sake of $15, $30, something like that, it can be a big help for you. So I would recommend doing it. I actually didn't do it, and it didn't work out that well for me. So that's why I put that in there. So I'd hate for the same thing to happen to anybody else. When you go out on this date, if she insists that you go out for dinner to a particular restaurant, it's a red flag. I would turn around and go back into the social. I would not go there with her if she's insisting dinner, because it will be a restaurant scam. 10 o'clock at night. Maybe she is hungry. I'm not too sure. I think there is food at the socials anyway, but just take her somewhere like a cocktail bar. So before the social, I would try and pick somewhere close to where the social is, where you plan to go afterwards. So you're going to plan that beforehand. That way you can say, hey, I know this cool place just down the road. Let's go to that. Because if you leave with her, she'll say, I know a cool place we should go. And then you'll go there and you'll end up getting a little bit scammed perhaps. So we're just trying to eliminate any possibility of getting scammed by these ladies until you can sort of get to know them a little bit better and try and figure out exactly what they're all about. Another thing that is useful, and this is something that you should do as soon as you get to the Ukraine, and that is to go and get a SIM card. Now you're probably thinking, well, everywhere has Wi-Fi, so why would I want to do that? That is true, but with a SIM card, with access to the internet at all times, you can Google stuff, right? So if a lady that you've met says, hey, I really want to go to this place, you should come and with me and let's go and have dinner, you can just quickly Google that place. If it's a restaurant, just Google the restaurant, Ukraine, Odessa, whatever, and then put the word scam at the end of it. Straight away, you will find out if this is a scam restaurant. There will be a lot of one-star reviews on Yelp and all those other websites saying that this is a scam restaurant, they overcharge. As soon as you see anything about a second menu, they overcharge foreigners, it's a scam restaurant, all these things, do not go to it, because it is a scam. So if you've got access to the internet, you can research that straight away, because I've heard of guys going out for dinner and having a small dinner and they get a $600 bill at the end of it. And it's just, there's really nothing you can do once it happens. You just have to be aware and just avoid it. So having access to the internet is a huge, huge advantage. Okay, this one here, it's going to sound a bit funny, but there may be a time when this presents itself and you have to make a decision. Okay, so what is it? Don't go on any double dates from the social, okay? When the girls who are scammers are together, it's like double trouble, okay? I've seen it happen to guys before. I've never been on any double dates myself, but I've seen it happen and on many different occasions on different tours. I've heard about it or I've actually witnessed it myself. Don't go on any double dates. They will work together. You cannot speak Russian or Ukrainian. You do not know what they're talking about, and they will take you for a ride. At least if it's just one girl by herself, you have a little bit more control as to what's actually going on. But double dates are a huge red flag, especially after the social. Another one that goes in line with this as well is don't let, if you've met a girl, so don't let her bring her own translator, okay? Because there's a good chance that they're friends, they're going to take you out for dinner, they're going to rack up a mega bill, you've got no idea what they're talking about, it's just the same as a double date, so you don't want to do it, okay? So if you do want to take the girl out, take your own translator, don't take her one. Even if she says, oh, she's my friend, I've known her since school, we'd love to go and have a drink with you, blah, just say, no, I have a translator, I would just rather take Anna out, just go and have a drink, I'll see you later. That's all you have to do, because you're opening yourself wide up to a scam. I think this is number 12. I don't even know. But this rule here is very important. And a lot of guys don't do this. But it is, if you don't follow this, you're never going to be successful, okay? So be realistic, okay? The problem with a lot of these companies in the Ukraine, and you can tell like with their websites and the profiles that they put on there, there's a beautiful 22-year-old, she's pretty much a model, she's in her underwear or she's looking very sexy, she likes guys aged 25 to 65. No, it's never going to happen. You have to be realistic, okay? So when it comes to the age, about 10 years, okay? Some people stretch it out to about 15. I do know of a couple who are into their mid-20s of age gap. So that's a huge age gap, but they make it work. But the chances of you being successful, if you are 48 years old and you're walking around talking to 21-year-olds, you're wasting your time, okay? The 21-year-old is not interested, okay? If she is interested, she's very likely to be a scammer, okay? As you get older, as the girls get older, they're less likely to be wanting to scam and more likely wanting to settle down. So if you were 48, I would be looking in the 30s or something like along that line. So if you are realistic, your chances are greatly improved, okay? So please don't go to the social. I know it is overwhelming in this bubble of fantasy that you can just pick a 21-year-old and just get the hell out of there, because it's not going to happen, okay? It's just not going to happen. Be realistic. Now, the next rule kind of goes against everything that I stand for when it comes to dating. It wasn't the way that I was brought up, and if anybody in my own country did it, you'd sort of be frowned upon. And that rule is date as many women as possible as you can. I know, it sounds like heaven. Sort of, but not really. But what you want to do is, when you're at the social, you need to make a goal for yourself. Instead of just wandering around just sort of aimlessly and picking up numbers and doing all that, have a plan before you go in there. The plan should be something along the lines of this, and I recommend this one. Try and get at least 10 phone numbers of ladies that you've spoken to that you felt you could connect with in some way. So maybe you had something in common, maybe you could just tell that she was interested in you, and make sure it's realistic. So don't have 10 numbers of a 25-year age gap. Because your goal here is to be successful, right? So 10 phone numbers. So then the days following the social event, you're going to be going on a whole heap of dates. So you want to go on as many dates as you can in the first 2 to 3 days. And try and narrow that down, because you're going to go on a date with one of the ladies and you're going to find out that really you have nothing in common and it's just not going to work. So you can just forget about that one. You're down to 9. Okay, so same thing's going to happen again. You go on a date and you think, well, I really like her, or maybe I'll, go on another date with her later on. So in the space of 2 to 3 days, you want to try and narrow that list down to about 3 or 4 that you actually really like and really connect with and can really see some future with them, or with one of them. The problem is that if you go to the social and you only get 3 numbers, well, what happens if those 3 are scammers? What happens if 2 of them are scammers and one of them you just don't connect with? So it really is important to make sure that you have that you take full advantage of the social itself. When I was there, I sort of mucked it up a wee bit, especially the first day. I didn't know what I was doing, couldn't remember who I'd spoken to. I was just, just walking around in a daze pretty much. So if you are prepared and you do have a plan when you walk in there, when you leave, the next day you'll be thinking, yes, all right, I'm on track and I'm ready to be successful. So try and get 10 in the next 2 to 3 days. AFA suggests you go on 6 dates a day. I didn't do that because that just sounds absolutely crazy. But if you can, for sure, go and do it. You're going to be tired after day 2 or day 3. But if you're doing like 3 dates a day, or 3 or 4, so you could go out and you could have like lunch and then brunch and then dinner and then go out for some drinks afterwards or something like that. That's what you want to do. You want to do it that way and try and narrow it down as fast as possible. Because even if later on the 2 that you do narrow it down to turn out to not be the one, you've still got the others that you may want to say, well, I did quite like her, I'll go on another date with her and see how it works. So you want to have plenty of options, plenty of options. Once you get down to those 2 or 3 ladies, the natural organic process of falling in love should just start to happen. So that's where you want to get to. So always have that in mind. You're just trying to get to the point where it's all going to just sort of happen for you. This rule here, now, this isn't a rule that you have to do to be successful. It's really just sort of a tip. What I would do when you are going out on these dates with these girls, don't speak to the other guys about the dates, okay? The reason for this is that one guy might go out on a date and he has a bad time because she doesn't like him. He comes back and he tells you, I went out with her and she was boring, or maybe he thinks he scammed her, or she scammed him, or whatever. But the dynamics would be different with you. But if you're told that she's not the one, you're gonna go out with her and you're gonna be thinking, she's not really the one. But she might be the one. She's just not the one for him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't talk to the guys. Don't show them photos. Don't do anything that's going to compromise your process of falling in love, because you're there on a mission for yourself. Don't worry about those guys. It doesn't matter. If the person is meant to be with you, then they'll be with you. So I remember I did speak to John about this. I said, do you let the guys talk about what dates they've been on? And he says, oh yeah, they can compare notes, and if one's crazy, they can compare notes, or if one's a scammer, you know, everyone can look after each other. I disagree with it. I think that you shouldn't speak to any of the girls about it, any of the guys about the girls. Just keep it to yourself, because yeah, only bad things can happen. I mean, maybe Peter, he went out with Anna, and you're going out with Anna, who's also blonde. But they're two completely different Annas. And if you've been to the Ukraine, you know that there's probably only about 10 different names, and all the girls seem to have them for some reason. I don't know why it is. So don't share your dates or your experiences with the other guys. I see many guys, they fly into the Ukraine, they do this 1 week tour, they stay for 2 days, and then they go home. And it's like, how are you going to build a relationship or even a friendship that could lead into a relationship if you're flying out, and then you've got to try and do it by Skype? It's not going to happen, okay? I mean, it can happen, and there probably are people that are watching this saying, well, it happened to me. Well, I mean, that's great, but we're trying to be as successful as possible here. So I don't think that is a good plan at all. If you're coming to the Ukraine to do this, take it seriously. Take the time out from work that you're going to need to take. Save up, or whatever, the money that you're going to need. Whatever you need to do to stay for another week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks afterwards, if you can. But at least 1 week, because you want to be able to spend 1 week with this person who you may hopefully want to spend the rest of your life with. Flying in and flying out, just don't do it. You need to have time to build a relationship, at least build a friendship, and then something blossoms from that. The problem that happens here is that guys fly in to fall in love. You still need to build a relationship, even though the whole process does work fast. You still need to build that relationship and see if you are compatible, even just as friends for a bit, and then onto something more romantic and then more long term. So plan to stay a little bit longer is my advice. The next one, which is very important, which is the last one. I promise you, it's the last one that you need to listen to, is to go with your gut feeling, okay? So it's important to have all the information, like the stuff that I've just told you and the stuff in my videos, and use that stuff, absorb it, and remember it. Because if you see something that's a little bit off, or you see something that's a bit, what's going on over here? I know about this, I've heard about this from one of these videos. Go with your gut feeling, okay? So it's so important to be aware of where you are, what's happening around you. If something doesn't feel right, just be very, very wary of it. I'm not saying run away, because you might be wrong. But what I'm saying is to just be aware of it, and don't ever think, she might be scamming me, but I hope she's not. I'm just going to I'll ignore it and hope it goes away. Because sometimes we can turn a blind eye, just hoping that it's not true. But if your gut feeling is telling you that something is not right, chances are there's something that's not right. So just be careful and just make sure that you're always paying attention to everything until you get to know the lady that you're with a little bit better. So that's it. So those are my tips to hopefully help you get through the AFA social more successful than what I did. If I'd known these before I left to go to the Ukraine, it would have been a whole completely different story. But I'm glad that those things happened, because if they didn't happen to me, or I didn't see them happening to other people, I wouldn't be able to tell you about them, and then it might happen to you. So the whole thing here is, as you know, as from a lot of my other videos, is that I'm here to try and help guys to find love in a country other than their own. So that was my mission at the start, and I had to try and do it for myself before I could try and teach other people, which, as some of you know, I managed to do it. So I'm hoping that the information that I'm giving you is good. If you think it's good, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe, because I'm going to keep putting out some more content that's going to help guys as well. So hopefully that helps you guys, and hopefully you don't get scammed or anything like that. But when it comes to AFA, don't let any of these things put you off. It's just the way that it is. When you sign up to try and find love in the Ukraine or one of these countries, it's just part of it. You just have to get through it by being knowledgeable. So good luck.